Zimbabwean journalist Ezra Tshisa Sibanda has contacted the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, asking the government to help Zimbabweans who are trapped in the Russian invasion of Ukraine. In a letter that he wrote on the 10th of March, Sibanda says several Zimbabwean men were deceived by recruitment agents who promised them good jobs in Russia, such as truck driving, security, and cleaning work. They were told they would receive a once-off payment of $37,000 and a monthly salary of $4,000. However, when they arrived in Russia, their passports were taken and they were reportedly taken to military barracks instead of workplaces. Sibanda said the men were given only 2 weeks of basic firearm training before being sent to the front line. We are just going to quickly read the letter. The letter reads as follows. Dear Honorable Minister, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Harare, Zimbabwe. Urgent appeal for government intervention to rescue Zimbabweans trapped in the Russia-Ukraine war. My name is Ezra Sibanda, a patriotic Zimbabwean and broadcaster who carries a deep love for our nation and its people. Today, I write to you with a heavy and troubled heart. I've been contacted by several Zimbabweans who are currently trapped in Russia after being deceived and trafficked under false promises of employment. These young men were recruited by agents who promised them legitimate jobs in Russia as truck drivers, security guards, cleaners, and general workers with life-changing financial rewards that would allow them to support their families back home. They were promised a once-off payment of $37,000 and a monthly salary of $4,000 for many struggling Zimbabwean families living in both Zimbabwe and South Africa. Such promises felt like a rare opportunity to escape poverty and build a better future. But the reality they encountered is horrifying and inhuman. Upon arrival in Russia, many of them had their passports confiscated and were immediately transported in buses to military barracks. Instead of beginning the jobs they are promised, they are subjected to torture, then a brief 2-week crash course on how to handle a firearm with no proper military training, no physical preparation, and no tactical instruction. After 2 weeks, they are deployed directly to the front line of the war in Donetsk, where they say they are used as expendable human shields and bait in the brutal conflict between Russia and Ukrainian forces. According to the desperate testimonies I have received, many Zimbabweans have already been killed in the fighting. Survivors speak of bodies of black Zimbabweans lying abandoned on the battlefield, with no recovery, no dignity, and no proper burial. Some are left where they fall, forgotten in a foreign land, thousands of kilometers away from the homes and families they left behind. Others have been severely wounded or permanently maimed, particularly by drone strikes. Many of the injured reportedly receive little to no medical care. The emotional toll is equally devastating. Some of those men, overwhelmed by fear and despair, have reportedly taken matters into their own hands rather than return to the front line. Minister, these are not soldiers. They are ordinary Zimbabwean citizens, fathers, husbands, sons, and brothers who left home believing they were going to work and provide for their families. Today, they are trapped in a war that is not theirs. Those who managed to contact me are crying for help. They say they desperately want to return home, but they are not allowed to leave. Their passports remain confiscated in Moscow, and they live under constant threat that any attempt to escape could result in them being shot. The financial promises made to them have also proven to be false. Many report that only about $1,000 was sent to their families once, after which no further payments were made. Minister, the families of these men in Zimbabwe are living in anguish and uncertainty, not knowing whether their loved ones are alive or dead. Children wait for fathers who may never return. Wives live with unbearable fear every single day. This situation requires urgent diplomatic intervention. I humbly and respectfully appeal to you, Honorable Minister, to engage your counterpart in the Russian government so that urgent steps can be taken to locate, protect, and repatriate Zimbabweans who have been forced into this conflict without proper training or consent. I have lists and contact information for some of the Zimbabweans currently trapped in the conflict zone. I stand ready and willing to cooperate fully with the ministry, including providing a detailed briefing and evidence that may assist the government in investigating this matter and rescuing our fellow citizens. Honorable Minister, one death is already one too many, but the possibility that over 100 Zimbabweans may have died in this war under such tragic circumstances is something that should shake us all to the core. These are our people. They deserve protection. They deserve dignity. And above all, they deserve the chance to come back home alive. I have faith that your office will treat this matter with urgency, compassion, and seriousness it deserves. Your urgent response and intervention in this appeal will be deeply appreciated by the families whose loved ones remain trapped in this nightmare. I anticipate your urgent response. Yours, Ezra Tshisa Sibanda. Recently, we posted a video on the Russian war, and we also spoke about these agents that are trying to lure people to Russia, and their offers are too good to be true. We also spoke about our children stealing their passports and running away from home because they have been promised a lot of money. They tell themselves, we are just going to go in there for 6-7 months and then we'll be out in no time. But the out in no time, you will never know. Someone wrote and said, leave people alone. Those who want to go and die there, let them be. Life is about risk and reward. Some will make it, some will die. Let's just mind our business. They thought about it before they went there. Some are saying, no one was restricted to go to Russia. How can you go to look for a job in a country at all? The only job available is fighting. Some of them went there knowing, claiming to gain experience, thinking they will come back as passengers without thinking that they will come back as baggage. Zimbabweans are very adventurous. Love for money and fear of poverty are two distinct traits. Fortunately, I like both, but my prayers are with all of them. Citizens are conflicted. Others are saying these men, they knew exactly what they were getting themselves into, but because they lacked military training, they thought the war they read in novels was actually the reality. If you were military trained and if you were involved in any war before, you would not go there as a volunteer. My deepest condolences to the families and loved ones of the Zimbabwean men who lost their lives in the war. May their souls rest in peace. At the same time, it is important to remember that those who chose to go were aware that they were joining the military during an active war between Ukraine and Russia. The battlefield is not a training ground or a place of drills. It is a real war where lives are at risk every day. Many of us warned them that this was not the Salvation Army, but a real conflict with real consequences. Some even called us weak or said we were people who did not want to work for our families. Sadly, war has now shown its true nature. Today is not a day for blame, but a moment to reflect and to mourn those who have been lost. May their families find strength during this painful time, and many others may they also think carefully before choosing such a dangerous path. The war is between Russia and Ukraine. Guys, I'm just saying, the war is between Russia and Ukraine, and you have nothing to fight for. You're fighting for whose independence, for whose freedom. Yes, we stand with you during these trying times. And to those that are still contemplating on going to this war, that has nothing to do with you. Please, guys, just stop. It is going to be difficult to repatriate you. The fact that there are contracts that are signed, it makes it legally binding. Sometimes the government is also overwhelmed with their own issues. They are not going to come to your rescue. And Putin, you know him, he is actually out there. And if you try to cross his path, it is better to choose peace. So instead of dragging the government into this, please make sure you have your own peace. You have your own safety first.